Well, my friends, story time with Mrs. Beth again. I hope you're having a fun summer. I sure am. Hey, I got a story today about a little girl that wasn't very nice, and she liked to stick her tongue out at people. Not good. It's called Watch Your Tongue, Cecily Beasley. Let's read it together. Watch your tongue, Cecily Beasley. Cecily Beasley was never polite. She never said thank you, or please, or good night. She tap danced on tables. She cartwheeled in dirt. And she wrote, "I won't share," on the front of her shirt. She sucked up spaghetti in one giant slurp. And she'd laugh if she belched out a loud, stinky burp. But those aren't the worst things that Cecily did. That mannerless, cartwheeling, toy-hogging kid would stick out her tongue, put her thumbs in her ears, and make dreadful faces at teachers and peers. A boy named Bernard said, "You know, that's bad luck. If you do it too much, then your tongue might get stuck." When Bernard had a birthday, the cake was in place, and Cecily sang with a shriek on her face. Then, just when the very last note had been sung, something horrible happened to Cecily's tongue. She stuck her tongue out, and it stayed there. It froze. She screamed when she noticed her mouth wouldn't close. A bird hovered near her and happily cooed, dropping twig after twig on her tongue as she shooed. She ran home to her parents and yelled, "It's a bird!" But a gruff, muffled gurgle was all that they heard. By then, on her tongue, a whole nest had been made, and the bird sat content on the eggs it had laid. Oh boy. They drove to the doctor as fast as they could. He checked out her tongue and he said, "It's not good. It's a mocking beak tongue snatcher, rude." They roast on the tongues of the loud girls who stick out their tongues. They tend to be feisty, don't mess with that nest. No, patiently waiting is what I suggest. You'll be fine, but no cartwheels till all those eggs hatch. There are surely more serious things one could catch. That bird scratched up Cecilia's tongue with its toes. It chirped and its feathers got stuck in her nose. So she stayed in her bedroom for 13 days straight, till she finally went nuts from the bird sitting, waiting. She went out for a walk and she heard someone shouting, "Just look at that stuff that girl's tongue has been sprouting." "Her tongue is a menace," a man replied sadly. "It serves that kid right for behaving so badly." Some children were scoffing and stopping to linger. They were joking and laughing and pointing a finger. Well, Cecily desperately wanted to scream, to stomp and make faces and let off some steam. But the bird and its young on her tongue, the insults she'd normally sling, went unslung. She couldn't say anything. The bird was there. And then a chick hatched. It was out of its shell. Poor Cecily sighed, thinking all would be well. The chick raised its head, and the people could see it was looking at Cecily, cute as can be. Then the bird opened its mouth like it wanted to speak, and it stuck out its tongue from its little bird beak. Then things started happening frightfully fast. The rest of the eggs began hatching at last. As Cecily watched, one by one they sprung. Each hatching looked up and stuck out its tongue. Why, these rude little tongue snatchers, Cecily thought. They ought to have manners. They ought to be taught. She thought about kindness and rudeness, and then she suddenly saw just how awful she'd been. It wasn't so funny, it wasn't so fun when somebody else was the tongue-sticking one. Cecily went home and she worked on a letter that would make both Bernard and herself feel much better. Her heart felt so happy and snappy and good, she planned to be nicer whenever she could. Sorry I ruined your birthday. When at last all those tongue-snatching took flight, Cecily found that her tongue was all right. Just once she was tempted to make a mean face, but she struggled and squeezed out a smile in its place. Though she wasn't quite certain, she thought she had heard the sound of a mocking-beak tongue-snatching bird. Now Cecily Beasley is much more polite. She always says thank you and please and good night. What a story! Kind of a funny story to have a bird's nest on your tongue. And you gotta watch where you put your tongue. I hope, my friends, you enjoyed the story, and I hope you don't stick your tongue out at people. That's not really very kind. Anyway, my friends, have a great day, and I'll see you next time.